So if you want to participate in your county party's convention, do you need to participate in these caucuses?
I believe you need to participate in order to be elected to be a delegate, but I have to tell you that the rules are still being formulated and voted upon by the Nebraska Democratic Party, so I can't tell you for certain. But if you want to be a presidential delegate to go to the national convention, you have to go to the caucus on February 9th. That part is clear.
Okay, well, very good. So then there's another group that we hear a lot about, and that's called Democratic Divas. Tell us about that group.
Well, that's a wonderful group that I first became acquainted with back in, probably 2003, right before I was thinking of running for Congress. And it's an organization that's open to all Democratic and independent women. And it's a kind of a networking and social organization that participates in some charitable organizations. We're very proud. 2 years ago, I guess it's going to be 3 years ago this year, we started a college scholarship program.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah, and we do. We offer 2 $1,000 scholarships.
Oh, meaningful.
Yes, for Democratic women or young women here in the state. And so that's been very rewarding in order to do that. And so we have a $25 annual due, and those dues go strictly to the scholarship program to fund that. And our members also participate in other worthy causes. The Center for People in Need here in Lincoln, they do food distribution at Thanksgiving, and they're also doing like a toy distribution for Christmas. And so we encourage the Democratic Divas that live in Lincoln to participate in that process. And well, occasionally we'll have speakers come on a variety of topics, but the whole key of the Divas is to empower women, to have them come, meet others, share what's going on in their life, and you know, just to get the support of the group. And it's been very, very successful.
Well, that's good. That's good. So, what do you think about as you're moving forward with these two groups? How do you feel about the state of politics and women's involvement in politics here in Nebraska?
Well, I think in Nebraska and nationwide, there is a large untapped group of women out there who have not to date been really active in the political process. They're not registered and they don't vote. And part of the mission of these two groups is to reach out to those women and to get them involved. And from a Democratic Party perspective, there's been some research that shows that there's over 20 million single women in this country, most of them Democratic leaning in their political beliefs. And if we could actually get them to register to vote and show up to vote, that the Democratic Party would succeed, you know, every time. And you know, that's something that we're wanting to do. The Democratic National Committee has a very active women's group called the Women's Leadership Forum, and they're going to have a program coming up called Take 8 in 08. And it's to try to get these women who are not participating and not registered to vote to, you know, get active in 2008. And it's a very appealing approach for women because it draws on the strength of what women do in their everyday lives. I mean, we're all very busy. You know, we work outside the home, we work in the home, we have children, we have families. You know, there's a lot of demands on our time. But the one thing we do is we talk to other women. I mean, we have important women in our lives. They are family members, they're neighbors, they're co-workers. And just by talking to them about why we think it's important to vote and why we think it's important to participate in the political process, then you'll get agreement from some of these women that they'd like to give it a try themselves. And then it's just a question of doing what's necessary to help them get registered, maybe offer a ride to go to the polls in the primary and the general election. And so like the campaign which we've adopted in the Nebraska Democratic Women's Caucus is that, okay, we're going to say we're going to each go out and try to find 8 women to take with us to the polls or to encourage to go. And, you know, that's what we're working on, and we hope it will have an impact.
Well, that's great. So what do you think are some of the issues for that untapped women? what is important for them?
Well, I think the issues, the general issues that we spoke of earlier, which are important to everybody, but another thing that I think is very important to women is just the level of participation of women in elective political office. And it's a question, I think, of diversity, and we have a representative form of government, and I think our government would just work much better for everyone if it was more reflective of the diversity in our general population. And of course, women are not a minority. I mean, they are, you know, half or more of the, you know, the voting public in this country and the citizenship, and they're underrepresented in elective offices and in legislatures.
Do you
and
think
Congress.
that the discussion, the dialogue, both locally and nationally, changes when women are part of that dialogue?
That has been my experience, my personal experience, and so that's what I base my view on. And I sort of grew up in the 50s, a little socialized girl who, you know, my first goal was, you know, probably, you know, not to even have a job. And then I went to college, and I had some more opportunities, and I went to law school, and then I had to get a job as a lawyer to pay off my student loans. And when I started out in the legal profession in the mid-70s, women were very much a minority. And through the years, I've now been a lawyer for over 30 years, I've seen as more women have come into the profession, it has changed, you know, because you're hearing from a different, a diverse perspective. I mean, women come from a different place in their lives, and they see things differently, they speak differently about things, and I think it has had a very noticeable impact in our profession, and so I think it has to have the same impact in elective office. I really do.